Welcome, everybody. Sean McCoy is here to tell us about the opportunities in the federal space. And with Sean, go ahead and take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Sean McCoy. I'm the National Business Development Director and President and owner of Federal Employee Benefits Advocates. We're an educational company. We're based in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I've been working with federal employees now for about 12 years. Over that period of time, I've probably spoken to somewhere in the neighborhood between 28 and 30,000 federal employees. I've also conducted probably in excess of 1,000 federal employee benefit briefings. I always like to get this out up front. We are strictly an educational company. We're not an IMO. We're not an FMO. We're not licensed. We're not here to split your commission. The way I explain it to people is we are a bait and tackle store. We are not a fish market. We are not in the business of setting up leads or selling you leads or setting up seminars and selling the leads to you. The objective here is to teach you how to fish for yourself and to put you in control of your prospecting, and we're going to teach you how to do that, and we'll discuss that a little bit later on in the program. So the federal employee market is a large untapped market. There's about 1.7 million federal employees, and they're scattered throughout the country. Pretty much every city in America that has a post office has a federal employee. And in general, it's a fairly large and untapped market. Now, you're on the call today with us because you're looking for an opportunity for a possible undiscovered niche. You know, what we found is that a lot of people will market to a particular segment, and sometimes that segment is a one that will continue to grow continuously, and in other cases it's a segment that may decide that it's no longer viable for whatever reason. The federal space is one that'll be around in perpetuity simply because it's not going to the federal government is not going to go away anytime soon. Now, what does the opportunity present? Well, first off, why should you work with federal employees? When you look at the federal workplace, it's aging. So about 39% of the federal workforce is age 50 years or older compared to about 24% in the private sector. The average age of a federal employee is about 47 years and with about 16.3 years of service. 1 out of every 3 federal employees began eligible to retire in 2018. So to now we're 2021. And you have a huge population, somewhere in the neighborhood of 757,000 people that now have the ability to retire. When it comes to the pay of the workforce, and this is one of the misnomers I've found, is that they are competitively paid. They must be remain competitive in their pay in order to compete with the talent that they get from the private sector. And so there are a number of positions that pay in the $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 range within the federal marketplace. The average salary for a federal employee runs about $78,000. Now, 85% of all federal employees work outside the D.C. area. Now, some of the top 10 states would include California, Texas, Virginia, Maryland, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Ohio, and Illinois. Now, there are 7 key areas that you have to work with federal employees, and not all of those areas are going to make themselves available with every single federal employee. So we'll go through these various opportunities within the federal market, and then you'll have a chance to see what might be a good potential fit for your practice. The first one is the federal employees have a pension. There's 2 different retirement systems. There's the old system, the civil service retirement system, and it was created in 1920. So as of last year, that system was over 100 years old. Now, they closed that system out with the last person hired December 31st, 1983. So since January the 1st of 1984, they have a new system called the FERS, F-E-R-S. Now, both of those systems, the CSRS and the FERS, have a pension, and they must select a survivor benefit. So in some cases, it may be appropriate to look at the appropriate survivor benefit based on the income needs of their employees and their survivors. And in some cases, it may make sense to substitute their pension benefit with life insurance. So that would be a risk management type of program. As we all know, when it comes with life insurance, there's age and underwriting requirements that go into play and health issues. So typically the sooner you can get them, and then the larger their pension is, the more they have have to give up in order to share with their spouse. Another area in the area of risk management, and this is one I find the vast majority of federal employees are not familiar with, and that's in the area where the federal employee covered under the new system, FERS, if they die in service with less than 10 years of service, there is no pension for their survivors. And so as a result, it creates a gap, and that gap may need to be filled with, for example, with life insurance. Also, it may, if there are no survivors receiving a benefit such as a child, it may preclude them from being able to stay on the health insurance at the employee rate. If they go off, they have to pay what in the private sector is called COBRA, for the federal government it's called TCC. It's temporary continuous coverage, and it lasts for 36 months, but they have to pay 102% of the premium, very expensive. The other area is in the accumulation area. That's they have a thrift savings plan. This is the largest defined contribution program in the world with over $375 billion worth of assets. They expect that amount to go over $1 trillion in the near term. And as a result, they need suitability needs as far as making sure they have their assets properly allocated while they're in the accumulation phase. And unfortunately, about 40% of their assets are in the G fund, which is effectively a high yield money market. And then when they retire, they need various options to help them make sure that they have a sufficient income to maintain their standard of living. And the fact that federal employees can retire anywhere between 10 to 12 years younger than most Americans, they have the need for the appropriate distribution options that will allow them to persist into retirement and not have to go back to work. Another area that comes in the accumulation is a program called the Voluntary Contribution Program. Now, this is an old defined contribution plan that was set up way in advance of the creation of the TSP, and it was designed to allow federal employees to put additional money aside. Well, that money earned a nominal rate of return, but there was a change in the tax law in 2008 that allowed these types of programs to be put into a Roth IRA without respect to the income limit or the earnings limit. So effectively, what it allows a federal employee covered under the old system to put in up to 10% of everything they've earned over their entire working career, and then be able to turn around and move it into a Roth IRA, thus avoiding the contribution limit or the income limit. So it's a great tax loophole for a federal employee who has some substantial funds in non-qualified accounts. Now, to just kind of give you a little breakdown of how the TSP breaks down for federal employees, this comes from the TSP website and just gives you the amount of dollars that have accumulated within the federal government. As you can see, you've got almost 9,600 individuals who have over $1 million of assets, and then it's dispersed through the various bands. So for those of you that are in the accumulation, whether this be a managed account, mutual funds, or some type of fixed account or variable account, certainly is some options that are available to help the federal employees in making decisions. The final three areas come in the area of risk management. The first is their federal employee group life insurance, known as FEGLI. Again, the largest life insurance program in the world on a group basis. There's 4.2 million federal employees and retirees covered under this plan. Just like most group insurance, when they're younger in their career, the cost of the insurance is very low. What happens is they start getting into their 50s and beyond, the cost starts to grow up exponentially on their option B coverage. So that presents an opportunity to provide additional life insurance while they're working during their career, and to ensure that they'll be able to have the coverage when they retire, and that could be used in a life insurance situation. Disability coverage is another area where federal employees are not aware of the way their disability program works. What happens in that particular situation is if they go out on disability, in the first year, they get 60% of their high three offset by 100% of anything they may qualify for from Social Security. Then after the second year, it drops to 40%. So this presents an opportunity in risk management using a standalone disability policy, or possibly combining it with life insurance with other types of living benefit riders. The final risk management area comes in the area of long-term care, and that deals with estate planning. And in this particular case, the federal government does have a federal long-term care plan through John Hancock does the administration. However, that program has consistently, at their renewals, which is every 7 years, seen substantial increases in the prices. So this may present an opportunity, again, for a standalone long-term care program, or maybe combined with life insurance with other types of living benefit riders. Now, at this point, there's probably two questions you're asking yourself. One, what's the best way to find new prospects and turn them into clients? And two, how can I get the professional knowledge I'll need to work with the feds? Well, this is where we come into play. Federal Employee Benefits Advocates offers several different programs available for financial advisors and federal employees. The first program is our FedEd program. This is our financial advisor training program where we give you the knowledge, tools, and support that you need to work with federal employees. Our other program that we offer are Federal Employee Benefit Advocate Seminar programs. These are programs that are designed to help you to educate federal employees and to build a relationship with them. So let's first just focus in on the FedEd program. So the FedEd program was designed to help you as an advisor to better be able to understand all the nuances of federal employees. Most of you, I would dare say, have a good grasp of the way ERISA plans work. However, when it comes to federal employees, they're governed under a separate set of laws and statutes and how their programs work and how the different various factors are involved with their benefits. So the FedEd program now is done on a virtual basis because of the COVID-19. We've had to adapt, adjust, and overcome, just like a lot of people have. And so we've gone to a virtual program. So this virtual program begins with a study guide that we send to you via email, and it'll generally arrive within, say, 5 to 7 business days after you sign up for the class. We like to, at the very minimum, try to get you this material up to 2 weeks prior to give you an opportunity to be prepared when you come into for the actual training class. And the reason for that is there's a lot of information that we go through in this class. People have often described it as if you're drinking water from a fire hose. So this provides you with the opportunity to come in and have some degree of knowledge about the federal program and also be prepared to participate and to ask questions. I would equate this to if some of you took a pre-licensing class for your insurance or securities license. It's very similar to that type of methodology to be able to get the information, get a basic understanding, and then get the actual training itself. Then when it comes to the classroom, again, this is set up over a 3-day session that lasts for 4 hours each day. So typically the class runs a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they will typically start at 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Mountain, and 8 o'clock Pacific Coast time. And this is designed so that you'll be able to have enough time to be able to come through and participate in the class, but not completely have to step away from your practice for the entire day. So the classroom workbook will be mailed to you. You'll receive this approximately 2 to 3 days before the class, and it'll have a copy of all of the different programs that we'll be going through. There'll also be hands-on exercises, and what you'll find is that this classroom workbook will become a valuable resource for you as you go through and work with federal employees so that you have the ability to get it updated. Now, the question is often asked, can I get a virtual copy of this or a soft copy? No, we don't provide that. We only provide the hard copy of that, and we only give it to you when you initially come through the class. We don't give you updated workbooks or anything like that as you go through the class, but this is yours. And you can see that the format of this is set up so that it's done 2 per page with an adequate amount of information for you to be able to take notes. There's also the questions at the end of each section that allow you to drill for skills so that you can become more honed on your knowledge of federal employees. And then all of the questions in the book have answers that go with them, so you've got an answer key. And there's hands-on exercises that we'll take you through as we go through the particular class. The other part of our program, and this is really where the rubber meets the road and kind of our secret sauce, is our marketing plan. We're going to help you to identify, locate, and communicate with federal employees. So what we do is help you to identify where the federal employee opportunities are in your particular state, county, or geographic area, and then to be able to identify and locate them through various methods that we teach you using readily available resources. And then the other part is the communications process so that you can communicate to them and learn how to prospect for the purposes of prospecting directly to federal employees, for the purposes of offering them a complimentary business analysis, for prospecting directly to federal agencies, for the purposes of being able to talk to the federal agencies about offering various forms of benefit briefings, and then maybe to do what I call an all call, and that would simply be one where you're inviting both agencies and individuals to potentially a virtual or live seminar once that returns. Okay, we seem to be getting a little bit of background noise, so if everyone would be kind enough to mute your phone, that would be great. We also provide you with some basic marketing materials. There's other marketing materials that you can purchase to use with the federal employee marketing. These come off of our website. It's set up just like any online store that you might have. And then we also have other tools such as the postcards and other items that can be customized. Now, let me be clear on the way the postcards and other marketing materials work. We do not generate the lead information for you. We allow you to send us the information. We can print it up, send it back to you to be mailed out, or we can do a turnkey solution where you provide us a list and we'll do the printing and do all of the stamps and everything, postage to get it out. And we have different methods. Do you have questions about the federal employees? Do you understand all of your benefits? Come join us for a program. Would you like a complimentary benefits analysis? So we try to touch all the different genres as it relates to prospecting to federal employees. We also give you a software program from a company called Ready Retire Solutions. It's based out of Dallas, Oregon. Not only does it allow you to do a comprehensive overview of the federal employee benefits this year, we've also included the new Pension Max Illustrator that will allow you to be able to show in a very detailed fashion of how pension maximization actually works. We're also going to provide you with a digital resource guide. These are about 30 different forms, about 80 different forms and brochures that you'll use in the course of working with federal employees. So the idea is to give you a library that you can refer back to and to really cut down on your learning curve as far as the benefits are concerned. We're also going to provide you with an opportunity to test your knowledge through an online program that we make available after the class. If you are a certified financial planner, we do have CFP credits. This is a 100-question exam, and you must pass that with a score of at least 75% in order to be successfully completed with the class. And if you do so, you'll be sent a framed certificate that you can use to display on your wall or in your office. So wherever you're doing business these days, all things have changed. So the cost of the class, that it gives you the 3 days of the virtual training, the study guide, the classroom workbooks, the marketing manual, the digital resource library, the online exam, and with the track software. And as I mentioned, if you are a CFP, we'll give you 12 hours of CFP. The cost of that class is $1,850. A question that also come up is, if I got a group of 5 people, will you give us a discount? This program we think is such a great value, and because of about half of the cost, I shouldn't say half, but about a third of the cost is the software. We're just not in a position to discount it. So we've been going through quite a bit of information now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute everyone. And then if you have a question, if you would, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question. Or if you want to ask a question privately, you can select me, Kevin Sean McCoy, and enter that into the chat, and then we can answer those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for just a moment to see if we have any questions. Doesn't appear as if we have any questions, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. So what we've talked about thus far is the program specifically designed for the federal employees, for the advisors. We do have a class coming up. The virtual class is going to be on April 27th, 28th, and 29th. You can see the times listed. In order to be able to participate in the class, you must register by April 16th, which is a Friday. My suggestion to you would be, because of the uncertainty that we faced with weather and other items that have come up and can come up in any point in time of the year, plus you want to give yourself enough ramp-up time to be able to go through this, we strongly suggest that you do it in advance of April 16th, because as soon as you place your order, we'll send you that pre-study guide, and you'll find that you will need some time to go through that prior to the class. So we've discussed our FedEd Employee Advisor Program. Now we're going to talk about our Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminars programs. These are seminar programs that are designed to help you to educate federal employees and build relationships with them. There's no question about it. Seminars have become a very popular way of communicating with a lot of people in a short period of time, and for generally, oftentimes, a much lower cost than what you would see with face-to-face meetings. Now, there is pros and cons with every decision you make, and sometimes people find that they like the face-to-face better, but in the environment we're in, it's very difficult to try to do that. It's much better to go with virtual, at least at this time. So what we did is we created a series of benefit briefings or seminars that are available to be licensed. Now, these are single license users, which means that if you license it, you're the only person who can use it. If you have other people in your office that you work with, such a partner, or you're a part of an agency and you want to get something on a larger scale, we do have a site license opportunity available, and we can talk offline about that. But we give you a 1-hour session with handouts. We give you a 2-hour session with handouts, and we give you a 4-hour session with handouts. You get all three of these for $1,250. Now, that's for the first year. And then after that, you renew them for a mere $500 for everyone that's participating in the program. And what we do is every year when the benefits change, we'll update those and send you the most recent program. So that is something that is available. You do not have to go through our class in order to license these, but I would caution you that if you're not working with federal employees at this time, that would probably not be a good thing to do, because federal employees, they are very close to the vest, and they will check your information and your knowledge, and if you give them the wrong information, you'll find that it may be challenging to continue forward in that particular organization. So you got to kind of really have your game on, so to speak. We also give you an invitation that you can use to set up. We can assist you in setting up your own landing page. We can also assist you in helping to create the follow-up questionnaire that would be used to solidify an appointment afterwards, so that you have the ability to follow up with them. This is an example of the handout guide that the participants receive. It doesn't have a copy of all the slides 2 up or 3 up. It's more like a Cliff Notes version, so that it really encourages them to follow along. And you can either use this, if you do the 1-hour version, as the incentive, so that after the program, if they want to get a copy of that, they can submit the evaluation form request to be followed up with, or you may choose to send it out to the participants who registered, regardless of whether they attended or not. This is a sample of the kind of the evaluation form that we use. Again, you can structure this any way you want. You can also contract with us if you choose to. If you want to set the seminar up, and this is very common for people to do, and say, look, Sean, I don't want to learn all this information. I'm not a great speaker. It takes too much away from my practice. Will you come in and deliver it if we set it up? And the answer is yes. And if you do that, we can provide you with some additional levels of assistance. But remember, we are not in the business of setting the seminars up for you, nor are we in the business of buying or providing leads to you. We also have another presentation that is oftentimes used if you're working with federal agencies. This is our financial literacy program. This is essentially designed to work for anybody in or out of the federal government. And we created this because oftentimes, when we were doing the face-to-face briefings, people were bringing their spouses. And so this goes into areas that are not covered as part of the federal benefits. Probably one of the more important pieces that we go through is estate planning, where we talk about wills and trusts and special needs trusts and things of that nature. So again, this is available to be licensed. This can be done virtually, or it can be done in person. And there's full day and half day sessions that are available. We also have a unique program that we have available for divorce and its effect on federal employees. So this is one of the more common things that happen, just like in the private sector. About 50% of federal employees will get a divorce. The challenge in this particular situation is that the rules related to divorce for federal employees versus ERISA plans are quite different. And if the individuals are not familiar with the various nuances, particularly their attorneys, they could make some very critical mistakes that could be devastating to the employees in the future as far as the cost associated with this. So this is another piece that we have available for licensing. So again, those are the programs that we offer, which is the FedEd Advisor Program, where we give you the knowledge, tools, and support you need to work with federal employees. And then the other program is our Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminars to help you educate and build relationships with federal employees. As I did mention previously, we do have a FedEd class coming up. They'll be conducted on April 27th, 28th, and 29th. I'll send you some more details with that, along with the registration link for signing up for today's program. And then we do also have available for licensing the online seminar series that gives you a 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour sessions with handouts that you license for a 1 year period. Initial period is $1,250, and then the renewals on this are $500. So what I'm going to do now is open it up to see if anyone has any additional questions about the program. If you do have questions, you can, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. You can ask your question now or send a private chat. Or for more questions, you can check out our website at febadvocates.com, or you can give us a call at 720-432-3331, or you can email your questions directly to me, Sean, at FEB Advocates. So I've unmuted everyone. We'll see if we have any additional questions, and if not, we'll close out for the day. So everyone has the ability to ask any questions you need at this particular time.